is better than how many starters in the Big Ten right
Are you going to drink your own piss again? Why? Because I mean, you're already 9 beers in.
The size and scope of the horseshoe, you truly feel tiny.
Bye. Boy, bye.
Yeah, go ahead, Unabomber. What the fuck you was saying about the SEC, bro?
I'd rather watch softcore porn than have to watch y'all
Bro, who invited this dude, bro? What the fuck? Get this dude out of here, bro.
You guys can't coach, to be honest with you. It's just a high school coach.
Well, this is smacking off. If you don't like it, change your diaper and leave.
Don't be ridiculous right now, okay?
Your meatloaf is moist as my pussy gets. I promise you that.
I'm against the Golden Shower.
They need you back at the cash register in 5 minutes.
I also can prophesize the future. And I also can see subliminal messaging.
No, that's how you make opium. And then from there, you got to process.
Alcoholic, tree-hugging, hippie liberal. Speaking
You've gone off. That's awful sweet, but you know, not enough smoke.
Coming
not
down
enough
in
firepower behind that.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to Smashing Off the Podcast. I'm your host, Shannon Madden. I'm joined with Doug Phillips, my co-host and producer. Doug, what's going on?
We have a new 48 team playoff that they're...
You're not happy about this, are you?
Huh?
Because I know that you wanted...
I don't like 12.
Yeah, you wanted 8, I believe.
I don't...
Eight.
Mean, once you get to 12, you're getting 3 lost teams.
Well, you know, but at the same time, they also announced that there's going to be some of the lesser bowls that we're used to seeing in and around.
Be gone, yeah.
I know one that'll probably be leaving us. You want to take a stab?
The Birmingham Bowl?
Right down the street, yeah. Because it's funny because the city of Birmingham, which
if Papa John's would have stayed with them, and then we could have had the Papa John's.
Yeah, we could have held on to that Papa John's money.
If they would have painted the fucking field like a big pizza, that would have been fucking cool.
Absolutely. In fact, even changed the pizza. Well, they could have, and you know, the thing is, cross promotional. They could have done a pizza in the shape of a football field, and made the pizza like green somehow. Made it like a little football field.
Yeah.
I mean, the possibilities are endless here.
It's a true story.
Now, the city of Birmingham, where we're based, the funny thing is Legion Field, which is where the Birmingham Bowl takes place, is a huge, massive facility that is old as shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's old. It's an old building.
Matter of fact, the stadium could probably be condemned.
I don't know why they don't just go ahead and start just taking it down piece by piece, because you know scrap iron's kind of up right now.
Yeah.
And how many pounds of scrap do you think Legion Field would?
A lot. There's a lot of metal in there.
I mean, take a stab. Like,
I mean, they've already taken the best piece of metal that was ever.
How many millions of pounds? Tons. I mean, millions of tons.
I mean, there is the work of getting it out. You got to pay somebody to do that, but.
I mean, you tell them they keep scrap.
No, fuck that.
No, dude.
Fuck that. I think you would stand to win by just paying them to do it and then paying them to haul the scrap and you collect. I don't know, maybe give them a percentage of it.
No, something like that. They would probably negotiate the price of the scrap or whatever the current market value of the scrap is for that. The reason I bring that up, though, is because there are the last event that they have there, the football event that they have at Legion Field, which used to be the home of, I personally think, the greatest rivalry in the SEC and possibly college football, the Alabama-Auburn game for years and years. Alabama actually had, before they had the big, massive super facility that they have in Tuscaloosa now.
They played all their big games there.
All their big games.
And Auburn did for a while, too.
Yeah. And then, of course, you know, they wanted to bring things back home, and why do we have to travel to Birmingham?
And then it became a political situation. Alabama actually had a big enough stadium, but they would still throw Birmingham a bone every now and then.
Yeah. Well, and, you know, the SEC was still...
you know what brought that down, right? Was the Magic City Classic and the Alabama-Tennessee game clashed one year.
Yeah.
Not at the time of the game, but beforehand, as they were setting it up for the year. And Alabama, they would not let Alabama and Tennessee have it for that game, even though that the Alabama-Tennessee game nets probably 10 times what the Magic City Classic does. But Magic City Classic still...
Well, Magic City Classic since then has become a much bigger event for the city of Birmingham. In fact, I would say that it as far as in-game attendance goes, that certainly doesn't bring as much as Alabama, Tennessee did during the middle of their heated rivalry.
True story.
But they probably bring about 250,000 people to the area just to celebrate, not
just to see the bands.
Yeah, and the tailgating thing, all the area clubs, stuff like that. Which one we got on here?
All right, we have Sean Devine.
Sean Devine, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, good evening.
What up?
Now we wait for Alex Bryan and what's that other guy's name?
No more Birmingham Bowl though. I mean, that's.
I mean, we don't know.
That's kind of disheartening because
we don't know that'll be the one that goes down. But
Tennessee was probably going to play there for like the next 2 or 3 years.
Possibly.
I mean, yeah, if they're able to.
UAB was going to beat Tennessee in the Birmingham Bowl.
Yeah, UAB's got their own facility now, and that's kind of what I was bringing up. The fact that the new UAB facility holds half of what Legion Field does. I think 50,000 in and around.
UAB has a new stadium.
You haven't seen this yet?
No.
You haven't been downtown in a while, have you? Oh man,
I would have thought I would have.
Dude, it's right dab smack in the middle of downtown. You know where Top Golf is? It's like right there, catty cornered next to Top Golf. This great big giant, huge, not really nice stadium. I like the way that they kind of placed it in the middle of everything. It's like a video game. Sean Devine, what's up, man?
Not too much. How you gentlemen doing this evening?
We're sitting here talking about this whole conference, the playoff expansion here.
Let's see if we can get these other.
And now there is it's going to be an actual real thing. There is going to be a Power 6 and maybe even a Power 7 now. Hell, who knows?
A Power 7.
Power 8. Could there be a Power 8?
Maybe.
Breaking news: there's now a Power 8 in college football. You heard it here first. So yeah, I mean, this really does. This opens the discussion for a lot of different things. The way it's going to wind up reshaping college football, and I think that's probably why they picked the number that they did.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. They just went right past 8, which I think we all kind of thought was the logical next step, to just right to 12. It was kind of the shock to me.
And you bring a lot more. You settle a lot more questions about division championships and conference championships and all these other because now the SEC is probably going to be fielding on a regular basis, most likely, depending on how seasons play out. The SEC and the Big Ten and. Well, not the ACC. That's just not going to happen.
We got enough people on here now, even if fake profiles don't show up. Goddamn it!
Hashtag fake profiles. Landon Freeman. He's actually Justin Pike. Did you know that?
I've heard that.
Alex Bryan, what's up?
What's up, man? How's it going?
So we're talking about the playoff expansion.
Absolutely.
You as an Ohio State fan that have gotten left out on an occasion or two. Right on the outside of the conversation, that probably won't be happening a whole lot.
I would hope not. If we can't manage to make the top 12 at that point, then we have a lot more problems than I would like to admit. So, I believe I read somewhere that if this had been in
hang on 1 second, Alex Bryan, you hear that, Tennessee fans, ball fans out there? Do you hear that?
Yeah.
That's how Blue Bloods talk. Instead of this fucking rebuilding shit and not being ready for the only rank that Tennessee's been, well, y'all know, it's that same rank that's on Phil Fulmer's balls.
Right. No, I think I read somewhere that had this been in place from the get-go in 2014, that Ohio State would have been the only team to make it every year. But I think they underestimate that in 2019. I think Bama was ranked like 13th at the end or something.
They also underestimate how top heavy the ACC is too, because Clemson was definitely going to be there every year as well.
They would have found a way to put Alabama in that year too. So let's just say Ohio State and Alabama would have been the only two teams to make it every year. So I'm excited for an expansion, but I don't know about this whole 12 teams thing. I'm interested to hear what you guys think about.
Well,
that.
And I like I like because I just hinted a moment ago when we were talking with Sean Devine about the fact that now and I said it tongue in cheek, but kind of not. Suddenly the Boise States and the UCFs and they, all of the teams that have gotten left completely outside of the conversation. Hell, even the Pac-12 can field a playoff contender now. Check that out. Look at the Pac-12 suddenly coming up.
Right.
Coming up like them white folk.
Yeah, when this all got brought up, Tim Bailey made a good point to me. He said that Oregon wouldn't have even made the playoff last year in this format, so the Pac-12 probably would have been left out last year. So that's something to think about as well.
It's going to be great.
Yeah, last year was a completely
it was a weird year.
I mean, let's not be silly here. I mean,
right.
Going forward this year, the Pac-12 champion from the Conference of Champions.
We missed that last part, Sean.
Going forward, I mean, the Pac-12, they're in easy. I mean, last year was who knew what was going to happen last year?
Right.
I mean, it was just completely crazy. I think we're back to normalcy.
Now wait a minute. Now the Pac-12's been out of this for a minute. As far as the playoff one goes.
At a four.
I mean, Alabama played Washington 5 years ago.
Yeah. How'd that work out again?
And Oregon got in and made it to the national championship game.
Yeah.
In 14.
They did.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 7 years ago now. Yeah.
They've gotten in twice.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, I think if you have Alabama and Ohio State expectations, I think that's just then that's not very good. But I mean, to have those expectations if you're not Alabama or Ohio State is not reality.
Well, and again, with all of the talent that surrounds both teams in both of those conferences, I mean, the Big Ten last year, they showed out. Pretty much throughout the whole season, there was a little bit of a drop off down at the end, but still, I mean, there's a lot of Big Ten teams that have nothing to be ashamed of last year.
Yeah, the Big Ten was very good last year, as was the SEC.
And somehow Tim Harbaugh
I think it's
still
going to
has a
continue
job.
to be the kind of the trend.
Let's welcome Landon Beamon too.
Is he on as well?
He is.
Where's he at? I don't see anything. Landon Beamon?
What's up?
Landon Beamon, hashtag fake profiles.
So maybe this will give us something to talk about for a second, but my biggest issue is this. Okay, is it the top 6 conference winners? Is that
yes?
The top 6 conference winners get an auto berth.
So the top 6. So we do now have have a Power 6 now.
I've
correct?
seen years where the 6th best conference winner could have 3 or 4 losses and not even be in the top 15.
True story.
Well, the top 6 are guaranteed in. However, then they rank the inside those 6. Only the top 4 will get that first round bye.
Mm-hmm.
My question is, I'm just going to throw out an example, and I've done this already on in text, but 8-3, 9-3 Tulane, number 18 gets in. Who from the top 10 gets left out because of that? I don't want to see that. I don't want to see top 10 teams that don't make this playoff because they've guaranteed too many conference winners to get in.
Yeah, but which top 10?
What do you mean which top 10?
Well, that's a good.
The rankings.
Which rank? You talking about the playoff rankings?
No, I mean,
well,
no, the playoff rankings.
Because
you're talking about a team that might be number 9 or number 10 in the AP or the coaches poll,
right,
that is left out by the college football playoff committee because of these stated requirements.
With maybe a better record and a better resume.
I wouldn't understand why the playoff committee though would keep 1 through 12, because I'm sure that they would have their finger on the pulse of who the championship, the conference championship winners are going to be going into the game. As they continue to vote throughout the end of the season.
Landon, what's your thoughts, Landon?
Well, I completely disagree with the 12-team playoff. Should have been 8. It's way too much. I don't agree with it. I think I think we're all here for stories. We all love stories. We all love a big story. We all love March Madness. So we all love it when a 16 seed or a 15 seed beats a 2 seed. We love it. It's enjoyable. It's something to talk about. It's something to laugh at. The problem I have with the playoff is you got way too many teams in it, and you went from 4 to 12. You didn't gradually work your way up. So, and I obviously I get why. It's money. I understand. But we're sitting here. We've developed 12 teams for 2 reasons. Number one, we're sick of the fatigue of Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State. college football world is sick of seeing Alabama, Clemson,
And I think
Clemson, Ohio
that's at
State.
the top of the top of the list of reasons to expand.
Yeah.
I really do.
I
And
think
number
that's driving the poor ratings because of that.
Yeah.
It is.
You've seen the college football playoff television ratings significantly drop over the last 4 years. I mean, it should be on par with the Super Bowl. It's not even close. That just
Right.
tells you the product isn't very good right now.
Right, so we're trying to do that. And then number two, they want to give the little guy a shot. They want the little guy to get a shot. They want, and my thing is, we want to give the little guy a shot. Well, the little guy has always been the little guy for a reason.
But I don't mind the little guy getting a shot as long as the little guy
is a legit contender.
Like UCF in 2017. You couldn't argue with them making an 18 playoff.
Sure.
But the problem is the way they've got it set up. We're going to end up with teams that are not even top 20 teams.
Memphis,
possibly.
Sure.
We're going to have that.
Well, and Landon made a really good point about the fact that everybody loves a good Cinderella story, and that's more people tuning in just to see that one team that maybe beat the dog shit out of them early in the year, just to see that one little scrappy team come and hopefully possibly get some revenge over.
You know what I think? I think we should do away with the conference championship games, and just if we end up with teams tied for the conference, then let them be co-champions like they were. There'll still be rankings, and do the bowls early, and then do the shit after the bowls.
Well, I disagree with that, but I think Joe Clapp made a good point. Eliminate divisions. That way, now if there's going to be 12 teams making a playoff, that way you guarantee your two best teams in a conference play each other for the conference championship. And then from there, obviously, the winners get the auto berth, and then the teams that lose, then you factor out afterwards. Because there's been years that the Pac-12, the opponent on the other side has been a 5-loss team.
If you do that, you do that, it's like a playoff game, even though it's not part of the playoff. I like that.
Right, but like I said, there's been years where the Pac-12 on the other side, there's been a 5-loss team playing the eventual Pac-12 champ. You can't have a 5-loss team in there, and in this format, we have to try to do our best to make as many or as little 3-loss teams or more as possible getting in. We have to make sure it's 2 or less lost teams. Obviously, there'll probably be some years where you can't avoid it, but if we can avoid it as much as possible, that would be great. Because
I've seen years where we'd have 4 lost teams in.
Yeah, if you lose 3 or more games, you don't deserve to play for a national championship.
But they're not going to do that. They're going to have these spots, and they're going to have to fill them.
And also, they're going to do the rankings differently than they would in a normal year. They're going to have to factor in during the course. They can't do it like they did in 2014, where TCU's number 3. And then all of a sudden they're dropping 2 spots.
No, I think you're going to see more of what you saw last year, and you're going to see teams like Cincinnati creep up into the top 12.
Right.
There's going to be some purposeful drama added by the voters, who are also media-driven folks. Folks that work in the media, folks that work for the television stations, and the people that feed off of Cinderella stories like potential matchup of, let's say, Cincinnati and Ohio State in the national championship game.
Right. And here's my thing. I know a lot of people are probably going to bitch about the fact that Group of 5 teams are making it into a playoff.
Look, man, we're fans. We're going to bitch about anything.
Right.
And the thing is that this is also we can't talk around the fact that a lot of all of our collective bitching, not only just on this podcast and in our collective Facebook groups, but pretty much everywhere that college football is discussed. Ever since we started off with the BCS on, there's always been something to bitch about, and they're going to tinker with it and tinker with it and tinker with it. And we, as a football fan base, I mean, where's your ultimate happiness going to lie? I mean, what's it going to fucking take to make you happy? Really, is what I'm getting down to.
Right, but But like I know there's going to be people bitching about the group of 5 getting.
You wanted a playoff? We got 4 teams. With 4 teams wasn't enough.
But let's face it.
Fuck it, we'll do 12. You know.
if we expand a playoff and continue to ignore a group of 5 teams that deserve a shot to play for a national title, then why are they in the same division as the Power 5?
I've seen a lot of I've seen a lot of group of 5 teams that would have made it into an 18 playoff.
Yeah.
And
So
I don't have a problem at all with that.
But as far as making it all the way to the
include
big
them-
dance,
See,
If
I
we
don't
were
even.
going to include them, then we got to send them to another division so they can actually play for something.
That's why I don't even think there should be any auto berths. I don't think winning a Power 5 should automatically get you in. Oh, I mean, there isn't.
yeah, but you can't have
With
complete.
with 6 guaranteed conference champions, that's going to give, I would say, the Power 5 4 at the least, and probably all 5 most years.
Yeah.
Well, I think one of the biggest things is like we try to pretend every year with these group of 5 teams. We try to pretend that there's a 2017 UCF every year, and like my thing is that 2017 UCF team, that was a damn good football team.
Yep.
Those Boise State teams with Chris Peterson, that was a damn good football team. That TCU team with Andy Dalton at quarterback, but when they were in the Mountain West, was a hell of a team. That Utah team with Brad Johnson at quarterback.
Are you talking about the one from 2010?
Yeah,
Because that team may have beat Auburn if
and
they'd
then
have
the
played them.
Utah team that beat us in the Sugar Bowl. That was a good football team.
And the 04 and the 04 Utah.
I think our problem is we try to pretend every year that there's a group of 5 teams like that, and there's not.
Yeah, it comes
Even
back. It comes maybe
even
every
that
4 or 5
Cincinnati team
seasons.
this past year. That Cincinnati team this past year wasn't anything like that UCF team.
No.
Those Boise State teams with Kellen Moore, that Utah team, or that team with
They rode that
Andy
asterisk
Dalton.
to glory.
I
They
think
weren't even close. I mean, they were a decent team, but they weren't anything like that. And I think that's our problem with the group of 5 is we try to pretend every year that there's a team like that, and there's not. It only happens every 3 to 4 years that you got a UCF or a Boise State out there that could.
But I will say this,
that's
though.
got NFL talent on the team and gets players.
We're fast approaching a point though, where these coaches at these group of 5 schools can now actually legitimately say, "Hey, we have a real legitimate chance for a playoff with you on our team."
Right.
You know, we are not only that, but we have an extremely overactive transfer portal right now. You know, third stringer over at Ohio State knows that, yeah, there is a legit shot if he goes and plays at, let's say, UCF or Boise State, that he could probably give them the edge to propel them to a point where they could make the playoffs and playing with a chip on his shoulder. Hell, we could go and actually beat them in the championship game. Wouldn't that be exciting? You know, you're going to see a lot more of those narratives on the recruiting trail. That's really going to shake up recruiting in a big way. And I think the playoffs already have, to a certain extent. At least as far as among the Power 5 schools,
now,
and taking some of the slight edge that some of the larger schools like Alabama and Ohio State have. But I think it's probably going to erode it just a little bit further and probably make recruiting a little bit more, I don't know, even across the board. Doug?
Possibly. Now, when does this become official? I realize that somebody has already said that it's going to be approved.
2023?
Yep.
Yeah.
But have they?
Yeah, if they agree to it next.
It's the earliest.
Yeah, it hasn't been agreed to
That's
yet.
the earliest
It hasn't been official. It hasn't been officially.
Who's? I mean,
yet.
what is this? An NCAA thing? Is
No.
this done by the committee? I mean,
It's the the heads of the conferences have to they're representing their conference. If they vote yes on it, then it's going to go into action.
I don't. Do you see a conference head saying no to this for any reason?
I don't think so. I think the money is too.
Yeah, the money's way too great for them to just turn it down.
And is the money any more than? I mean, I got to ask you this though: is the money going to be any more than what it is now with the 80 or some odd whatever ridiculous amount of bowls that we have now split up among all these?
Well,
these
the
programs?
problem is the 4-team playoff has diminished a lot of the bowls that you don't even watch.
True.
I mean, whereas now when you have 12 teams, I mean, the Capital One Bowl now could be a playoff bowl game essentially.
You know what?
So we're all going to be tuned in.
you're eliminating the 10 bottom tier bowls, the Gasparilla Bowl, the Duke's Mayo Bowl, but you're getting 11 more relevant playoff games, and you can call them bowl. If you want to make some bowls included in that. Other than obviously the first round, which will be on campus.
Here's what they need to do.
Birmingham Bowl.
Yeah, R.I.P. Birmingham Bowl.
What they
were
need,
talking about a minute ago.
What they need to do with the rest of these bowls is fuck bowls, because bowls is not where it's at anymore. What they need to do is create a couple more little tournaments. I'm dead serious. You could
have like an NIT.
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
I like that idea. I like that idea.
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't mean anything.
It won't mean anything except that.
I mean,
it's set up
that's
like a
the part about this that I do like.
You'll have 2 or 3 tournament winners.
We're getting rid of a bunch of unnecessary, needless bowls that nobody's really attending or watching, anyways, except for a few hardcore members of the fan base and the bands.
They better not get rid of the Hawaii Bowl. That's all I'm saying. That's a sacred bowl. Do not get rid of my Christmas Eve tradition.
Yeah, that really is a nice one too.
Your Christmas Eve tradition?
That is my Christmas Eve tradition. I love watching the Hawaii Bowl. I don't give a fuck who's in it.
Yeah, because they always show like the hula girls and the palm trees and everything. Yeah, man. Cool. I mean, it really is. I totally get that.
And the Hawaii Bowl is the only one with the excuse to have low attendance because there's not too many people that can afford flying out to freaking Hawaii to watch a football game.
True that.
So, sure. I mean, the other ones don't really have an excuse, but Hawaii Bowl does.
I can afford to fly to Hawaii, but I can't afford to fly back.
But would you actually mind being stuck in Hawaii?
No.
Poverty in Hawaii is the same as it is on the
Become one with the culture.
If I'm going to do poverty, I'm going to do poverty where there's more resources than that, and plus they're prone to earthquakes and shit. So
but the weather's mild.
I'm going to Costa Rica, man. You can grow a lot of mangoes there.
I mean, you can live in heat. I mean, you ain't gonna get snowed out there.
No, you ain't gonna get snowed out there. They have a lot of rain. It's very rainy there.
Yep.
Like
so since we have Sean here, I gotta ask about his opinion on the whole Notre Dame can't be a top 4 seed thing.
That is interesting.
What the fuck are we talking about?
Yeah, Notre Dame cannot be a top 4 seed.
Why not?
Yeah,
because they can't win a Power 5 conference.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. It's a trade-off. I mean,
now wait a minute. Wait, because this is a very good conversation, and you can't just say it's a trade-off. I mean, you don't think that for half a second that Notre Dame, in order to keep up with the times, wouldn't go ahead and align with a conference, probably the ACC.
Well, they are contractually obligated to, if they join a conference, to join the ACC from the agreement they have. But per Jack Swarbrick, the trade-off is, all the Power 5, people bitching we don't play a conference championship game. Well, this is a fair trade-off, since we don't play that. What they were calling, I think Heather Dinich called it the 13th data point a few years ago. That's fine. If we're a 5, a 6, a 7, 8, whatever, we get an on-campus home game, we got to win it, and we move on to a bowl game. It's fine with me.
That's a good attitude to take. However, reality states that I would almost bet the farm, that money that I was talking about going to Hawaii with a minute ago, that Notre Dame would probably align with the ACC once this is all said and done, if this actually moves and takes fruition.
I think we'll see what happens if it does, and
I think it'd be great for the ACC, because the ACC is way too top heavy at the moment.
For just so Clemson can actually sweat a little bit.
Yeah,
right.
It's really more about the affecting our ability to schedule. Other than obviously we have the 5 or 6, depending on the even or odd numbered year, ACC opponents. But the ability for us to schedule who we want to schedule. We have Ohio State coming up, next year, I think, in a home and home. And then we saw the Alabama series got pushed back 1 year because you guys scheduled Oklahoma State. We have home and homes with Wisconsin and then Arkansas coming up. I mean, it's Notre Dame fans take that.
Now, to be fair, that
travel.
That Bama Notre Dame game that you're talking about, we had to wait and see what was going on with that whole Saban contract extension. But it's good now, so I'd go back and I'd refresh your browser.
We cut a check and everything's fine. We're still paying the finest players, of course. So
yes.
everything's good.
And still more than enough money left over to pay Daddy. So
I really think that one of those top 4 spots should be in an at-large. I mean, I really do. I mean, not that it can't go to a conference champion, But I think one of them, they should have the option to.
If Notre Dame is better than one of those teams in the top 4, I do agree they should be in there.
It could be Notre Dame. It could be Notre Dame. It could be. I'm not going to use an SEC.
BYU.
A point that Alex makes on that is for example, if USC runs through the Pac-12 and they're the Pac-12 champ, but they lose in South Bend, and they're getting one of those 4, then that's certainly an argument that could be made.
Yep.
Right, like if they're a 2-loss Pac-12 champ and they get a top 4 seed.
But I don't think we need to wait for there to be an issue to make that argument. I mean, the argument is that one of those spots can go to an at-large. That could be a conference champion, but it doesn't have to be.
Right. But I mean, it sounds like Swarbrick. He was quoted saying, "I'm just looking forward to not having to hear about playing an extra game or a conference championship game anymore." And so I don't think he's in any rush to join a conference, which sucks because Notre Dame was literally one game away in technicality from being ACC champs.
Yeah.
So I mean,
again, it goes back to the ability to schedule and
right.
To be frank, having to make trips every other year to Wake Forest or Georgia Tech or you name it. It's not as exciting as going to to play in Alabama and Oklahoma and Ohio State or somebody else like that throughout the country.
Well, my opinion on Notre Dame, and Sean's probably not going to like this, but I mean Notre Dame and the ACC, I guess that's kind of cool. But Notre Dame, geographically, tradition-wise, they're really a Big Ten school. They should be.
Yeah,
I think
geography-wise they are, but relative to the schools in the Big Ten, you couldn't be more different. It's a small private Catholic school versus the large land-grant institutions of the Big Ten. And again, the historical enmity between the two. Notre Dame tried 5 different times to get into the Big Ten and was told no each time, so they became a national university. And the reality is the ACC is the best fit because of all the media markets on the East Coast. You have Boston, Philly, New York, Washington, and Miami. So, and Notre
I'm
Dame's
sure it has nothing to do with that cream puff bottom half that they have there.
Right.
Wake
not
Forest
to mention, to piggyback off Sean, what he just said, not to mention Notre Dame has like a bunch of little rivalries with teams. So if you automatically take up over half their schedule with conference opponents from the ACC, then
with
it makes
bullshit,
it hard to
bullshit games that nobody really wants to tune into.
Right.
Versus the games that
Notre Dame fans would rather see Notre Dame versus the Wolverines, Notre Dame versus Miami.
I'm a
Notre
Bama
Dame
fan, and I would
versus
much rather
Michigan
watch
State.
that.
Right. We'd rather have. I mean, that's the internal gripe right now inside the Notre. Is like, the whole cheers. If you've been at the beginning of the whole cheers, the records weren't good, but the schedules were incredible. Other than the Navy game, every week was.
Right.
I think there was a stretch we played. Alabama, Penn State, and USC 3 weeks in a row. I think in 87 or 88. I'd rather see that and lose because I'm seeing I want to play the best, and if we lose, we lose. Then go beat Wake Forest 49-3.
Yeah.
That's. I'm sure.
I mean,
Alabama
and seriously,
feel
if
the
you're
same way
gonna
when you beat Vanderbilt,
if you're gonna play a game, you're gonna watch your team
absolutely.
play. You want to watch them play the very best team that they can play, and it's much easier for me to take a loss to, let's say, a number 5 Florida team or something like that, than it is for us to have a convincing win over Georgia Southern or some bullshit.
Yeah,
75.
I think that's,
Yeah, I mean, like the FCS schools. I mean, like, dude, we don't like playing them. I hate it. I hate waking up on a damn Saturday in week 2 and we play Kent State.
Yeah,
I can't stand that shit. Or Western Carolina. I don't like that at all. It sucks.
Speaking of week 2, you should check out this week 2 schedule. It's pretty brutal.
I see it.
Week 1, Labor Day is great. We got a bunch of great games, and then week 2 is like, what the hell is this?
Damn, is it that bad? Fuck.
It's pretty bad.
But
I think you guys have Mercer that weekend.
Yeah.
I've got to go back though, just for a moment, because really, I mean, I'm hearing a lot of the arguments about an at-large team and the top 4 and things like that. But even then, doesn't matter the placement. Whether it's 1 through 12, if your team's got the stones, it doesn't matter where they're placed or how they're placed in that bracket.
It definitely does, because those top 4 teams don't play on the opening round. They get a bye.
Well,
I mean, that's less
Jesus.
games.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
God, Sean, you're right.
Win your fucking
Holy
conference.
crap.
I mean, hello.
Yeah, week 2 is bad. Well, I think.
So where's game day going?
The best game is the Wolverines versus Washington. If that paints the
Yeah, I
picture.
think that's probably where they'll be. Yeah.
That's literally the best game that week. That's
Ugh, that matchup isn't as sexy as it was 3 or 4 years ago, 5 years ago.
Oh God, no.
Real quick,
and that's always how that goes too.
Shannon had brought up something interesting. What kind of advantage does the top 4 really have here with this bye? I mean, let's talk about it.
Well, it's when you're not getting your players banged up, number one. And number 2, it's your ability to scout. Because they won't reseed. That's the other key thing on this. They don't reseed like the NFL does. So whatever that bracket comes out to be, you know who's going to be there, whoever wins their, that first round game.
You're gonna play the winner of this game right here.
Yeah.
For sure. It's not.
I wish they would reseed. I really do. I think that would be more interesting.
Oh, like you have 5 through 12 play, and then after you see those games, you kind of have it go. Oh yeah,
absolutely.
That would be more interesting for us as fans, for sure.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that for sure. I just like that there's not going to be some huge gap between your conference championship and your playoff game.
I'd go further. I'd go further than that, but people will think I'm insane if I say this, but I'm going to.
Do it.
If you had a game in that 5 through 12, in the 5 through 12 games, that both teams look like total shit. Just you've seen those games.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
The committee could say, "Fuck both of those teams. Neither one of them's coming. We're taking this team here that did not make it into the
Oh yeah, you want to talk about a firestorm?
Yeah.
Ooh man,
Yeah.
bring out the
Can't do
pitchforks.
Yeah, bring out the pitchfork.
That would be
Oh,
interesting.
dear God. Yeah, that would not go over.
That would be murder. Now, at the same time, though, after seeing some of the lethargic matchups that we've seen in the playoffs in these early years, I remember that blowout by Ohio State that nobody saw coming. Excuse me.
And listen, you're gonna see blowouts still in this format. It's going to happen.
Oh yeah,
there's
no two ways around it.
Teams that have way more.
With 12
talent
teams, you're going to have a couple
happen.
teams there that just clearly don't belong, and you'll
So
figure it out in the first 5 minutes of play.
So when people have brought up that little argument, why would we expand when there's been nothing but blowouts? Because it's got to be done. There's got to be more teams getting a chance at this thing. Shouldn't be 12 like it should be 8, but
a lot of years I think that 5 would actually get it. That's why I didn't want to go over 8. I feel like 8 is probably too many, but you can't do. I mean, 6 is odd. You can do 6, and then
I just felt like they should have worked their way up gradually instead of just go 4 to 12.
No, I love it. I love it because at 12 teams, it gives UAB a much better chance to sneak into the playoffs.
Well,
go Blazers.
And it's like I said on this show too before. I believe I gave my model of what I would do. It's like I know that there's going to be all these worries in my mind that there's going to be too many from one conference, and that conference is going to be the SEC, in my opinion. That's why I think that there should be limitations to the representation from a conference just to make it a little more even field. And you're not if you had it at 8 teams, there's 9 times out of 10, 3 or more reasons for number 9 and lower that you can say that's why they're not getting them. It's going to be even worse for number 13 and lower.
I think as soon as you do that, and it may not be the SEC that gets bit by this, as soon as you do that, you're going to end up with, and you think the limit should be 3 from a conference?
In this, yes. If it was 8, I would say 2. Unless circumstances called for,
Okay, we'll just call it 3. As soon as you do that, there's going to be a 4th best team in the conference that is clearly better than the team they have to pick.
Which I get, and that would be one of those.
And you know who it's going to be?
Outlying
it's going to be Ohio State on
it. It'll be Ohio State.
But the one thing I don't want to see happen is have this 12-team playoff be SEC. And that's not the point of.
Well, I don't think anybody does, and again, it goes back to what we said early on at the very beginning of this conversation. I think the fact that we have seen Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State every fucking year. One of those three teams is definitely going to be in the playoffs, and then there's some other teams that may or may not have a chance.
As you work back toward 2000 and you go through hypothetical 18 playoffs, you could even do 12-team playoffs. The SEC is not going to dominate on that, especially the further you go back, as much as you think.
Yeah.
I think the Big Ten actually had more.
Absolutely,
teams
the Big Ten is going to probably. I guarantee you, if we had a 12-team playoff starting in 2000. I'll bet you that the Big Ten would have the most spots up to now.
And I just want to make the disclaimer: if the Big Ten was in the SEC shoes right now, I wouldn't want the Big Ten being dominating the playoff either. I just want to make that known. It's just the SEC is in the driver's seat, and the SEC is the one that has a lot of teams ranked too high throughout the season where they shouldn't be. I've seen a 4-loss Auburn team be in the top 10 in recent years. That shouldn't happen. That should not happen.
What year was that? I'm trying to remember.
Oh, I remember.
I think it was that year that they played Oklahoma in the Sugar Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you're right.
And I was just like, they shouldn't be ranked top 10. They've lost 4 games. They should be, and that's what I worry about, that they're going to keep certain SEC teams are going to be like, well, they played this schedule.
I'm sorry, but a 12-team
over here.
A 12-team playoff is going to change the way that the rankings are.
It has to.
And again, I think you'll see a lot more of what you saw last year in the middle of COVID with there being so many different, just completely different teams in the top 10 or top 15 that you've never seen before.
All of a sudden, like in a 12-team playoff format, you got a 9-4 Auburn team that might have been ranked a little too high before. You're going to see a group of 5 team with maybe 2 losses jump up there where Auburn would have been before. I think you're going to see
4 losses.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right, and that's what I hope happens. But if one year all of a sudden I see like 5 or 6 teams from one conference in there, I'm going to be like, hold the phone. This isn't what we are expanding this for.
There's dirty shit that goes on with ranking, even just for a specific game. They want both teams to be in the top 10. They'll be in the top 10. But up till now, we've only seen rankings with the play BCS, of course, before, and now CFP. We've only seen rankings that really consider the top 5, and I don't even know why they were the fifth. That 5th spot's always important because it's a big talking point.
Oh yeah, there's been years where they've kept a team from falling out of the top 25 to give a certain team a top 25 matchup.
Absolutely, but now
that's wrong too.
This is going to be the first time we've ever seen polls that are geared toward 12 playoff spots.
Right. Well, I mean, my thing is also like if you support a college football playoff that guarantees conference champions a shot, then you're basically saying that it's impossible for 2 of the best teams to reside in the same geographical region.
Yep,
and that's basically it's unlikely that the second best in the Big Ten East or the SEC West would be better than any other champion. I mean, obviously, it's easy to say, just win all your games and you're in. But when you can go 10-3 and win your conference, while the second best team in the Big Ten could go 11-1 and literally not even win their division. At some point we got to have a little balance to that.
I will say this though, I saw this chart that showed like all the different sports and especially college sports too, and it says the number of teams and the the number of teams that will make a playoff in that sport. Like the NBA, there's 30 teams and 16 teams make the playoff. If college football goes to 12, if college football goes to 12, they will still have the lowest percentage of teams make the playoff in any sport, college or pro.
Yeah,
at 9.2%.
130 teams in FBS, which
is
also probably too many.
D3 football, 32 out of 250 make it, so that's 12.8%. And D2 football, 24 out of 169 make it, that's 14.2. This level of college football would be 9.2%, so it'd still be low.
What does the FCS playoff have? How many teams? 24, is it?
Give me one sec. That's on there too. 24 out of 127.
Hang on, guys. Breaking news. We've got to stop just for a quick moment here because there's some serious breaking news. Ned Beatty has passed away. And Ned Beatty, of course, if you remember, Ned Beatty, if you'll remember, if you've ever seen the hit movie Deliverance, with the Burt Reynolds in it. Burt, yes, they're.
He's the one that was told to squeal like a piggy,
and he did. He
did.
squealed like a piggy. And he also
I
was.
thought y'all were announcing LSU raped another student.
That's coming next week.
That's actually we've got a whole expose coming on. We've got
still waiting on that punishment.
Shannon Russell will be joining us for that segment. So.
Ned Beatty was in Rudy. We have a college football tie-in.
Yeah, he was.
Oh man,
he was Rudy's father.
Ned Beatty was the greatest role that I remember Ned Beatty in was Dan's dad in Roseanne. I still think I'm dead serious,
really?
Man. He really did. If you ever saw, I mean, you've seen Roseanne. You remember the?
I remember him playing Dan's dad.
Remember the episode where they finally talk about Dan's mother a little bit more about a lot of some of the troubles that she was having and a lot of the. Man, that is one of the most powerful sitcom episodes ever.
He's a good actor. I mean, anybody.
The interplay in between the two of them, because you're talking about two great actors. John.
Anybody could overcome
phenomenal.
that first role that he had in Deliverance and still have an acting career.
Oh yeah, man.
He squealed like a piggy pretty good.
He took that and ran with it, man.
He did.
He convinced me. I thought he was getting it into Pooch. Yep. I really, even though he may not have been in real life, he could have fooled me. It looked like he was.
Maybe they did. Maybe they did a little bit just to make it look a little more real. They said,
just put the tip in.
Yeah, just stick the tip in. Y'all all right?
Jesus.
Everybody. Good?
And we're back on Smacking Out the Podcast to talk about college football. Okay.
Where Shannon just put the tip in.
Yeah. We have other great LSU news. They're going home today after an epic beatdown by Tennessee in the Super Regional.
Yeah, they need to.
They lost in baseball.
15-6. Yeah.
Oh my God! Wait, whoa!
Everybody get online real quick and tag
really
Shannon Russell.
Wait, whoa!
I was told that too.
They were on their way to their next national championship.
I want to give it.
I was told they were a baseball school. I'm confused.
Now they're a track and field school. Whatever's next.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Track and field.
Water polo. Yeah.
But don't worry. They're going to make the college football playoff and win it again.
Let's give everybody a chance to. Is everybody happy? I mean, I realized that Alex Bryan didn't want 12 teams.
Hey, can we have a moment of silence for Ned Beatty or what? I mean, I've been sitting over here the whole time with this candle.
Because, we got President Pike coming on here in a second, and he's going to seed 5 through 16 in the Guru
This
playoff.
is going to be great. I'm looking so forward to this. Why we gave him any power is beyond me.
Everybody's got it now.
He's the president.
Whoever wins this,
he's the president. He does what he wants, right?
Whoever wins this the next year, they get to seed 5 through 12.
Yeah, I like that.
Sorry, 5 through 16.
I like that.
But anyway,
but while I do have some skepticism about certain things about a 12 team, and I do think it should be 8. I do think if you're going to go to 12, at least go to 8 first and see how that goes. I mean, I'm just happy we're getting an expansion. Not that certain teams have needed an expansion to get in, obviously. Ohio State had. I mean, they've only been out of it twice out of the time it's been going on. So,
but there have been a couple of those times they were out of it though that it could have been argued they could have been
2015. I think I don't know.
They would have been in every one of them if it was just 8.
True story. Yeah.
I don't know if the way our offense was ran that year that we repeat, but it would have been nice to have a shot to do so.
Yeah. With 12, you did.
But if I'm not mistaken, Ohio State would have been in every one of them if there was just a 16 playoff. Am I right?
Yeah.
Probably.
That's arguable. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just glad we're getting an expansion altogether. Hopefully 12 will be enough for the rest of time. And hey, Wolverine fans, you might, if you stop sucking, you might actually get a shot.
Shut the fuck up with all that. That ain't happening. Come on, they just got Harbaugh still coach there. That's not happening.
I was gonna say, hey, listen up. They have banned the color red from campus now. They're starting to take a play from Urban Meyer's book.
They're doing
and literally the very next day, they had a recruit come on campus wearing red shoes.
He was probably probably one of those gang member people.
Yep. You can't.
The gang members, they wear them colors, and if you wear the color, you're in that gang. Then the blue
God,
gang
I
or
can't
the red
wait
gang.
to beat their fucking ass this year.
Beamon,
I have a lot of pent up anger. It's great.
Harbaugh's still the coach there. I'm just still so completely amazed by that.
They gave him an extension, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
That's insane.
He gave them an extension.
Beamon, what would have made you happy about this playoff? I mean,
what would have made me happy?
Absolutely.
If it had just been 8 teams and we did, I mean, I have to give Alex credit here. I love Alex's formula of how I told him that this last year about the 18 playoff, how he laid it out. You know, you can only the at large and then the restrictions on each conference type deal. Like I like that because it creates parity in football and everything, and you don't have like the people getting upset because one conference is overplaying the other one and so on and so forth.
Yep.
I mean, obviously the 12-team playoffs beneficial because let's say next year
There's drama
Alabama,
there. There's potential for drama. I like it.
Well, I mean, let's just say next year Alabama we lose Bryce Young for 8 weeks in the season, and due to that we lose 2 games.
Nah.
And we make it
What are we
through, and
saying?
all of a
If we're
sudden
12
we're like a
playoff, we'll
12
still be
seed.
there.
Which one's that?
You know, we're a 12 seed in the playoff, and then Bryce Young's healthy, and we get to play with a fully healthy squad against the 1 seed, and we're at 12. I mean, obviously, a scenario like that, for an injury-riddled team that's then all of a sudden gets healthy and comes through. I mean, that's where a 12-team playoff, in my opinion, could get a little scary for those top seeds like that.
True.
Yeah, that would be quite like you're the 2 seed, and Bama had some bad luck during the season, but they make it in, and now Bama's coming to either your campus for the first game or a bowl game as the lower seed with Saban as your coach. Like, did you really win out on that? Probably not.
Yeah.
Sean,
I mean,
Sean,
that's where it kind of could bite you in the ass in the 12-team playoff. But the chances of that happening are slim and none. Most likely that 12 seed is going to be like your Indiana or
Memphis
Coastal Carolina,
or,
like you had
yeah.
this past year. It's maybe a Cincinnati or something.
Sean, are you completely happy?
I echo the sentiments of the gentleman before me. The 8 team was kind of my ideal number, but I'm not going to be as we've seen in some of these Facebook posts by people all just absolutely fire and brimstone about it. It's more meaningful football, and it gets rid of, like you said, sorry, rest in peace Birmingham Bowl, but bowl games we don't really care about. That it's 2 6-6 teams or 7-5, what have you.
I think we need to keep those bowl games, and I think we need to expand to 32 teams. And UAB's wants fucking Ohio State this year. Yes. Go Blazers! Go Blazers!
Two things though. I mean, I know that even in this format, if you look back at other years, you probably look at a 12-team format and say, well, those 4 teams still make it to the Final Four.
Mm-hmm.
That'll probably happen in this format too. But at least you give it a chance to not be that way. And also, this is going to be good for SEC teams that are 8 through 12 or 9 through 12, because they might get a chance to come up north when it's cold out, and we'll see if they can actually play football in the cold.
Well,
serious?
Guys, I hate to end this segment, but we got to move on. Great segment, guys.
Great segment. Thanks.
Thanks, gentlemen. Everyone have a good one.
Good talking to you guys.
Later, guys.
Fuck you, Shannon Russell.
Look, here is the new Band-Aid plastic strip with new Super Stick. It sticks better than any other bandage. The proof? Take a dry egg at room temperature. Touch the egg with any other bandage. Brand X, brand Y, brand Z. Not one sticks. But a Band-Aid plastic strip with new Super Stick sticks tight instantly. Watch it again in slow motion. No pressure, yet we can lift the egg, even boil it. And the Band-Aid plastic strip never comes loose.
Maybe you don't want to broil eggs this way, but you do want the extra protection of Band-Aid plastic strips. They take better care of little cuts and scratches. They stay put.
Yes, even in hot, soapy dishwater. Neat, flesh-colored, almost invisible. Band-Aid plastic strips with new Super Stick stick better than any other bandage. Made only by Johnson & Johnson, the most trusted name in surgical dressings. Be sure you get Band-Aid plastic strips.
Hurt finger. Band-Aid plastic bandage and collar. Hurt elbow. Band-Aid bandage. It's blue. Hurt ankle. Band-Aid bandage. It's yellow. Hurt knee. Charmers. No! In colors. Get some.
Look sharp, feel sharp, be sharp and listen, mister. How are you fixed for blades? Do you have plenty? How are you fixed for blades? You better check. Please make sure you have enough, 'cause a worn out blade makes shaving mighty tough. How are you fixed for blades? Better look. Gillette Blue Blades, I mean.
We're going to use an ordinary garden variety peach with its short, close fuzz and tender skin, and a regular regimental hairbrush with its rough, tough bristles, to prove to you that the man-size Remington electric shaver will give you a close, comfortable shave, no matter how tender your skin, no matter how tough your beard. Look at this amazing demonstration. The Remington is so gentle that it can shave the short, close fuzz off a peach without harming its tender skin. And the Remington is so powerful that it can shave the bristles off a brush, bristles tougher than any beard. Remember the amazing demonstration of the peach and brush. For the close, comfortable shave you've always wanted, reach for the Remington electric shaver.
We're back, smacking off the podcast. We just received word that President Justin Pike is out with a fever. Unfortunately, he's not going to be making his segment tonight. He was going to see the upcoming Guru playoff. Of course, that's when we have our gurus here on the old podcast here. Various contributors that have contributed.
We've already got a top 4 seed. We've got Justin Pike is the top seed because he won it last year.
He won it last year. He's defending national champion.
Robert Arthur is the 2nd seed because they both made it to the championship.
He's the runner-up.
Right. Sean Devine is the 3rd seed. And actually, who should be the 4th seed is Brett Patterson. Because Brett Patterson made it, but I cannot get Brett Patterson to respond.
Brett Patterson, he's sleeping with the fishes now. He made a bet he shouldn't have made, and, well, you know.
I don't know what's going on with Brett Patterson, but anyway, Landon Beamon was 5th, so he's 4th now. Okay, so, and here's the names right here. Gibbs, you got Scott Davis, which I don't know Scott Davis very well. But
Scott hadn't been on the show yet, has he?
No.
Yeah,
so. Timothy Bailey, Mike Richardson, Dane Kelly, Jay Fields. Walter Bryan, Jerry Looney, Gabe Griffin, Justin Brindley, Walter Bryan, Kyle Golick. If Pike was on here right now,
this is a fucking sausage party. Where's the ladies at?
I mean,
ladies weren't going to do it.
No
Shannon Russell.
Here's
no
what
Mac?
would happen if Pike was on the show right now. Let me show you. Wait, let me go ahead and get this set up so that we can do this right.
Okay.
I'd say, okay, who's the 16th seed? We'll start like that, right? And he's going to say,
probably going to be.
He's going to say Timothy Bailey.
Timothy Bailey, right out of the gate.
And there you go.
Timothy Bailey versus Justin Pike in the first round.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's my guess. Now he's got. He's actually got a challenge out there. Is that Jay Fields has said that Pike does not have the balls to put him at 16th. He said he wants to be at 16th. He said he would knock out Pike in the first round.
Now you know Jay Fields is actually he's actually
Timothy Bailey, but Pike is also Landon Beamon. So
and then and Mike Gibbs is actually Dane Kelly. So
is it really?
Yes. Mike Gibbs is Dane Kelly and Walter Bryan.
I got you. All right. Well, it was a great segment earlier. If you missed it, go back and watch
Kyle
it.
Golick is himself though.
He is.
Kyle is definitely himself.
I like Kyle.
Yeah.
I like Kyle.
I do too.
Walter Bryan. I can't wait to have Walter Bryan on.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I got Walter on here twice.
Do you?
Yes.
So you're missing a name.
Hold up.
Which name are you missing? Shannon Russell. You're missing Shannon Russell. Shannon Russell's doing this.
She didn't agree to it.
Why not?
I don't know. How did I get?
Why did Shannon Russell not agree to this? Is she still mad at me?
I don't know.
She's mad at me, isn't she?
I'll have to get when I get home. I'll have to see who we're missing.
Is she mad?
She was mad that last time that you mentioned her on the podcast. She was not that.
I don't understand why. She's a really, really nice lady. She may have possibly slept with Nick Saban before he came to Alabama. We don't know that yet. I know that she was nude.
She has hinted to it.
She was nude in his house.
She did hint to it, but it was on it was on April 1st.
Dropping a deuce, and Nick Saban stole it.
Maybe. All right, guys. Fuck everybody, and we'll see y'all next week.
That's a wrap.